All right, Tim Sykes here. Another important video lesson. I had an absolute perfect alert the other day on SKLN buying it. Where was it? In here. It had already broken out past the day highs at 230. Got up to the 250s. I dip bought it in here in the 230s when it held. And then, I sold a little too soon because I was busy filming all day yesterday. But some of my students made 50 to 100% the next day. I wasn't even there. More importantly, you can learn from this. Today, we have another educational moment. CATQ. I don't want to just talk about my trade. I need to get you understanding how I can spot these trades ahead of time, how I don't take advantage of them perfectly. I just made 20% on CATQ, but it turns out there was more like 50% of profits possible in roughly an hour. So let me go back for a second. First, I got to congratulate some students. So many of you guys are studying and really getting it. Michael, awesome job making nearly $2,000 today. Greggy, small account, but good job on MJNA, making 50% on your money. That's awesome. And that's how it all starts. Here's Houston. I love this trade on Vape, making 175%, more than tripling his money in just a few days. So let the people hate on penny stocks. That's fine. I'm just going to keep showing you student after student, opportunity after opportunity. All nailed BTUUQ for nearly $1.50. Mike, I love this trade. Shorting TCCO, making nearly $6,000 today, and that's awesome. Mark also banked on MJNA, making nearly 50%. So these are just a few students, but let's get into my trades. CATQ, this is probably my best trade of the day so far, and I think it's also a pretty damn good trade, not just because of the profit, not just because it worked out perfectly, not just because there's much more profit, but because it came down to planning. Remember yesterday or the other day I made a video lesson with Ray Allen, and it was really an amazing video. Ray Allen is a famous basketball player. He retired, and he wrote this great article about lessons to his 13-year-old self if he could go back in time and teach his younger self. And I shared a lot of his lessons because they were applicable to stock traders too. And one of the biggest lessons from his article was that success is all about boring old habits. And a lot of you guys responded to that video. I'm proud of it. But the question is, okay, Tim, I don't know anything about stock trading. What's a boring old habit? Obviously with basketball, it's understandable. You just take more, shots. Okay, you practice your shots. You do more sprints. That's easy. But what are boring old habits with stock trading? I'll tell you, studying the past, okay? Part of the reason I have so many video lessons and DVDs and webinars and I give so much content is because I'm always learning from every single trade, whether I do well or whether I don't do well. CATQ, I did well. I also had a loss today on AUPH. I was wrong. SKLN, I did well. I nailed that. The other day, I was also wrong on OCLS. So don't think that I'm going to be right every single time. But as you can see from these 4 trades, what's happened? SKLN, I was dead on. This could have been, nearly 100% profit or 80, 90% profit. CATQ, I was dead on. Coulda, woulda, shoulda been a 50% profit. Doesn't matter. I took 20%. I stuck to my goals. SKLN, I stuck to my goals. I took, what was it, like 15%? Yeah, like 15%. So making 15% and making 20%, and I'm only taking a small portion of what's possible. Not, that wasn't my intent. I wasn't like, oh, I'm only going to take a small portion. That's just how it played out. But I was dead on with those two. AUPH, I was dead wrong. Okay, I tried buying AUPH on the market, not at market, I use limit orders, but on this dip, and I thought that 310 was the bottom. I was totally wrong. It just kept going. But did I keep holding it? No. I cut losses and I lost 270. My gains are bigger than my losses. Okay? I'm giving you a free webinar on November 15th. I'm going to go into more detail about this. But OCLS, same kind of thing. I was trying to buy it, and guess what? It didn't work out, so I cut losses. These 4 trades are perfect lessons for you to learn from. I nailed absolutely 2 of them. I was right, and I took a small profit. I stuck to my goals, and I made, roughly 2 grand. On the losses, boo-hoo, I lost like 300 bucks. So my gains are roughly 7 times the size. See, I'm not that good at math. 7 times the size of my losses. So there's a lesson. But how do you even understand what are good patterns? Well, you study, okay? A lot of you guys are just beginning. You don't have that much experience. Study the past. I wrote this blog post back in 2010, the seemingly unchanging $1 million profit stock market pattern. Okay? Google it. You can see it. You can see this exact same pattern. This is BPSR. This is back in 2010. And you can see each one of these days it goes up a little, and then it crashes. And guess what? It bounces a little. Wait, let's just pull up CATQ for a second. Oh, it goes up every day, and then it crashes. And this bounce is actually better than what I thought it would be. So I'm pleasantly surprised. But this pattern has been around for decades. And that's just one chart. I show multiple charts. Oh, wait, look at this, HHWW. There's different kinds of drops, but some of the drops lead to bounces. Here's NXTH. This was Shaquille O'Neal's pump. And I shorted this. I made 12 grand. But it also bounced 50 cents a share off its lows. Here's Nini. This actually was a good dip buy. It dropped from 325 down to 175. And then look, it bounced a little. Even though the pattern is crashing, there's still some dip buying opportunities here. On MNCS, there's no dip buying opportunities. So not every pump is exactly the same. But with CATQ, let's just go back and look at some of my other commentary on it. First of all, you have to start the night before, okay? I don't want you ever just looking at a stock brand new and not knowing what's going on and not being prepared. So this is why I send my watch list, excuse me, every single night. I'm talking too much. I'm getting too excited. Let me take a water. All right. So I said CATQ, HADV, AXIM are classic pump supernovas. Congrats to longs, but I'm too scared to chase. These will collapse, and the collapses on these kinds of charts are sudden and scary. Okay? So look at this. I specifically said CATQ would drop. Very scary. HADV. Let's pull this up. This has not dropped. This will drop, but I'm waiting on it. AXIM was the other one, and this had a little drop. So CATQ fulfilled the prophecy the best. Now, there was no shares to short. I was looking for shares to short. So if you can actually see in my chat room, I also give commentary all morning long. So it's not just about any trade. It's not just about any video lesson. It's putting all this knowledge together. Oh, and I also shorted CNBX today. This is still an open trade. And this is a perfect supernova. I was shorting it at 95 cents right in here. Thank you to Interactive Brokers for finding me shares to short. This is hitting the day lows, but it's just the first down day. I'm already up a few $100, but I think this has more to go. So that's cool. Sometimes you do get shares to short. On CATQ, I could not find shares to short. So the question is, what do you do then? Do you just whine about it? No. You look for possible opportunities. So take a look at what I was saying here. Big CATQ panic. Congrats to shorts. This was at 10:20 a.m. Eastern this morning. And I also said CNBX is coming down nicely. Wish I had a bigger position. I wish I did, but what can you do? So this is specifically saying, look, CATQ long, see my watch list warning last night. I specifically said any drop will be sudden. So I'm trying to warn you guys whether you're long or short. Then I also say this. Potential dip buy. This is 8 minutes later at 10:28 a.m. Eastern. So this is right around here when it's at 170-ish. But I follow that up by saying a few minutes later, the lower the better, okay? I want this stock to absolutely crash. I say it's a potential dip buy, but I'm not buying it yet because I'm not sure how far this can go. This is scary to dip buy this, okay? The good news is I specifically said at 10:35, the lower the better. So that is right around here when the stock is at $1.58. I'm still not long because I want it to go lower. I want to see how much this crash can really go. Then a few minutes later, I buy the stock at a buck 30. I say very speculative dip buy. Okay, I don't want you to think that this is safe. There are some patterns that are safer than others. Buying a falling knife on a pump, that is very risky. As it turns out, I caught the exact bottom. Sometimes that happens. It's not always going to happen, but guess what? It's happening because of all these stop losses going off. Because I've seen so much. Because I've seen these $1,000,000 patterns for so long. Because I was prepared for the big drop in the watch list. Because, frankly, this was the other day, lessons from my worst trade of the year. This was CGRW 2 weeks ago. And it had the same kind of run up and a big crash, and it led to this dip buying opportunity. You could have made 50% on this dip. I traded it poorly. I went too big too soon. And you trading challenge students saw this live on my webinar. A lot of you guys are like, what are you doing? I broke every rule. I came away with it with just a small loss, but I risked too much. I was way off my game. But I want you to watch this video lesson, and you challenge students, I want you watching the archived webinar to see what I did wrong and learning from it, okay? Even though I lost a few $100s on this 2 weeks ago, because I lost a few $100s, that allowed me a little more experience and to do better this time. I'm still not perfect, okay? You know, I made a little over $1,000. Woohoo, I made 20%, which is pretty good. It's kind of funny when, you know, CNBC and all these financial advisors say you can only make 10 or 20% in a year, and we're doing it in an hour. But that's besides the point. I can't help but mock them. You know, forget about just making 20%. I mean, this thing is up. Look at it. It's spiking perfectly now. Why? Because the promoters have an incentive to prop it up. It's like Weekend at Bernie's. Okay, Weekend at Bernie's, if you've ever seen the movie, I suggest you watch it so you can understand what a dead man walking looks like. And that is what this stock is. This stock is absolutely dead. You can see it when it drops 50%. But the reason why you dip buy promotions like this is because the promoters need to prop it up for their business, for their livelihood, to keep doing as much cocaine as possible. Seriously, this is what promoters do because they don't want to get sued. They don't want to get investigated. If the stock crashes 50% or 70% or 90% and doesn't come back, guess what? Everyone who's bought the stock gets pretty pissed. Okay? They blame it on penny stocks. They say, oh, penny stocks are so random. But they're still going to be pissed. And then once you see the inner workings of why this stock is up so much, it's a promotion. Okay? So the promoters are going to try and support it. I underestimated how much they would support it. You know, I got the bounce here at 130, but it was choppy here in the 150s and 160s, and I'm out in the 150s. I hit my goal. As it turns out, it went all the way up nearly $1 a share over the next hour, which is just awesome. And I want you to see the profit potential. So when I've made $4.4 million over the years, I'm not doing anything near perfect. Okay? I'm missing out on a lot of opportunity. This is part of the reason why I got interested in teaching, because I know I'm not the best trader. I see profitable patterns. I make profits. I've made millions of dollars trading, but I am not capturing it all. You guys can do better than me, as several of my top millionaire students already have. This is why I love penny stocks. This is why I love these opportunities, because there is so much money to be made, and I'm taking a small piece of it, and you can take small pieces, but you have to study. Okay? Watch this video lesson for my worst trade of the year. It's the exact same pattern on CGRW. You got the exact same 50% bounce. Exact. Okay? It's crazy. Study this blog post about $1,000,000 patterns. Study all my video lessons. Part of the problem is a lot of you just think that I'm faking it. You think that this isn't real. You think I'm like all these other bullshit teachers who don't have any millionaire students, or if they do claim to have millionaire students, their millionaire students, in quotes, don't show all of their trades. They're bullshit artists. I am not a bullshit artist. I've been trading the same damn patterns for 2 decades. I feel like I'm taking fucking crazy pills, that no one else sees this. At least now with this, new technology and videos, I can actually share it and you can see it time and again. Those of you who are challenge students and you witnessed that CGRW drop during the webinar a few weeks ago, same exact drop on CATQ. Okay? There weren't any shares to short today. Boo hoo. You could still make 50 fucking percent on the way up. Not 20%, not 10%, not 5%. There is so much opportunity if you understand these patterns and if you play them the right way. Obviously, short selling, that's nice, but you have to understand that there is so much opportunity on the long side. Even when the stock is down 16% still on the day, it's a 50% move off the bottom. So that's why I want you to study. Ray Allen's boring old habits are practicing jump shot after jump shot after jump shot. Tim Sykes and every other trader's boring old habits are studying past patterns, always trying to learn, always trying to do better, always trying to say, wait a minute, will this pattern happen again? Wait a minute, can I play it? And if there's no shares to short, guess what? There's two ways to make money in the stock market, on the way down and on the way up. Okay? So you don't have to just focus on short selling. You should learn short selling just so that you understand the game. Even if you're not short selling, you have to understand, why is it crashing so much? Okay? You have to see how the game is played, every single angle, and then you pick and choose your spots, because we're all different. We have different personalities. We have different account sizes. But I am telling you, if you learn to focus on these volatile stocks, I don't care what finance says, I don't care what the mainstream media and the whole world thinks, these stocks are fucking predictable if you focus on the right patterns. They're not always predictable, okay? I'm not saying that it's easy all the time, but sometimes when the price action works out, when these opportunities open up, you can see clearly from my stream where I'm specifically waiting. I'm waiting. I'm not saying CATQ is a good company. I'm not saying that I'm going to buy it right away. I'm waiting to see how it plays out, to see if it's going to have the big tank that CGRW did. Okay? It did. I said the lower the better. I nailed it. Everybody in my chat room was warned ahead of time. This is why it's not just about alerts, guys. Okay? I'm different than every other chat room. This is why I have the most successful students. It's not just alerts. It's about learning patterns, learning the rules of the game, and being prepared ahead of time, even when I screw up. But I want you to see this specific train of thought right here. And this is perfect. In my chat room, you can clearly see it. It is all time-stamped. I'm specifically, first of all, warning longs that it could drop. I said that in the watch list the previous night. Then I'm congratulating myself and reinforcing that there should be nobody long here. But I'm also understanding that the further it drops, the better of a potential bounce it could be. Thanks to my CGRW buy 2 weeks ago. I know this pattern. And CGRW, the buy 2 weeks ago, was not the first time that I dip bought this. Okay? But look at this progression here. From saying, okay, I warned you guys, don't be long. Then I'm saying potential dip buy, but not yet. The lower the better. And then I finally pulled the trigger. This was at 10:38 a.m. Eastern. I'm filming this roughly 90 minutes later, and the stock is at $2.10. This is a live video right now. Okay? Let's just do some math for a second. Hold on. 210 minus $1.30 where I bought it. 80 cents divided by $1.30. This is a 61% gain in under 2 hours. So all of the value investors in the world are shit compared to this. All of the long-term investing that you see that dominates the media and the news is shit compared to this. It's not an exact science. It's risky as fuck. As I said, when I dip bought it, I said very speculative. So don't think that this is like some easy, strategy and it's like no risk and you're never going to lose. But I want you to see that it works the vast majority of the time, especially if you're prepared, especially if you have the right mindset, especially if you practice those boring old habits. Study every single play, even if you don't currently trade, if you're just paper trading, if you're just watching. As long as you witness this and put it into your memory banks and then store it there. Don't just forget about it, okay? you don't necessarily even have to trade it to learn from it, but at least try and witness it. You trading challenge students should try to come to every single one of my webinars. I'm doing a special 3-hour live trading webinar for you trading challenge students tomorrow. I wish it were today, but the schedule changes every week. Study, study, study. These are the boring old habits. That's how you learn to make $1,000. $1,000 over time, added up again and again, compounding your account. That's how you become a millionaire. There are no secrets, guys. There are no secrets with me. It's just hard work, study, and preparation. So leave a comment. Let me know if you're actually going to do this instead of just following bullshit hot picks like too many people want.